Tumai Damang Mungul Mufio. Bangel Mufio. Inche Seunghun Julioli Pingen. Avocado Pingen. Inglés Subuken. So, so today I'm going to talk about el lugar contraste coronal en Mapuche desde una perspectiva transversal lingüística. Where are you listening, right? So one of the things I want to do in the beginning is talking about the difficult contrasting or difficulty, muy difícil, in many languages. So a language can have two sounds, dos sonidos, and the speakers of those languages can hear it, but other speakers cannot hear it. So, for example,
bueno, voy a tratar de resumir lo que él va diciendo. Y lo que quiere presentar él es que hay ciertos sonidos que son difíciles de percibir, ¿ya? Para los hablantes de otras lenguas. Y eso es lo que va a presentar en un principio, eso es lo que está tratando de presentar allí, ¿ya? Que los hablantes de los que hablan la lengua pueden percibirlo, pero otros hablantes no pueden percibirlo. El hecho más claro, por ejemplo, es ahí dice que los coreanos pueden percibir...
No, I think I can speak loud. I will try to speak loud, so if you can't speak it in that way, we don't have to change. For example, Japanese speakers have difficulty distinguishing L and R. So, rice, bioho, rice is very different, but they cannot hear the difference. Not the end. And Korean speakers, when you have Japanese ba and ba, they don't hear. No difference. English speakers have difficulty, muy difícil, in understanding Korean. Pul, pul, pul. Pul, 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 pul. Pul, pul, pul. They are all different. Pul, pul, pul. But you can see it's a circulation, right? Japanese speakers have difficulty in English, Korean speakers have difficulty in Japanese. English speakers may have difficulty in Korean. So it's not just one direction, una dirección. It's like every language has something that's difficult for other languages, right? And Shitsonga speakers have it too. So, however, native speakers, when they hear it, they can hear it. Somehow. They have no problem hearing the difference. And they must be using some cues that's in the signal, right? Because we can understand each other on telephone, right? There must be something in signal that allows us to understand these little differences. Called phonetic processes.
El profesor dio algunos listados de algunos fonemas que están en contraste, que pueden distinguir en algunas lenguas. Sin embargo, hablantes de otras lenguas no pueden distinguir esos sonidos, ¿ya? Y hay ocasiones en que uno, por supuesto, tiene que tener otro tipo de clave como para descifrar qué está diciendo la persona. El ejemplo más común es cuando uno habla por teléfono, porque no tiene la persona al frente como para ver cómo ve los labios, cómo pronuncia.
And we just heard something about Mapuche, right? N and N, and I cannot hear well, but some speakers of Mapuche can do it, produce it, and there's difference. So there's something interesting. So based on the results of Mapuche, I'm going to introduce another language, otra lengua, the African. They also seem to have this n versus na versus na versus na. And I will talk about it a little bit. And it's written in the spelling, orthography. It's written down. So what is there? And then discussion about what does this all mean for us.
Dentro de los objetivos está ver cómo estos contrastes que mostró antes Héctor también se pueden ver en otras lenguas. Especialmente se va a referir a una lengua de Sudáfrica que está ahí, Chivenda. Ya las dificultades que hay para percibir estos contrastes.
So, but I will focus on nasal. Mostly in Chivenda, for some reason, I will tell you later. So nasals can be realized in different ways. So in English is nasal with alveolar. In Kiribati, it's Micronesian, una lengua Micronesian. Kiribati, the N is realized with interdental, almost always. So tama, man, they would always say N. So siempre en una lengua con siempre en, otra lengua siempre n. So there can be these differences. But some languages, as we know now, have difference between na and na. You can see my tongue, right? Lengua. Na and na. So Mapudungun is one, Mapuche. Also in Arente or Pichanjara and Walbiri in Australia, they have these differences. And Chivenda is known as not many. Right?
Él se está refiriendo a las lenguas que tienen estos sonidos N, ¿sí? A los sonidos que él pronunció y que son alveolares y dentales. ¿Ya? Y en las lenguas en que aparecen estos sonidos.
So, let's think briefly about nasal first. What is a nasal sound? Nasal is un sonido de nasal. So, if you block your nasal, you cannot have your nasal. No sound, right? So, nasal, because of this usage of the nose, usually we use A, U, O, right? Or boca. We use our boca. But for nasal, you use your nose. Because of that, there are many characteristics related to that thing. Usually, is lower than A. If you want to do fuerte, it doesn't happen. With nose, it's like limited. You cannot have a fuerte M. It's just always the same, right? And it means it is always weaker. It sounds much lower in terms of that. And there are some other things related to these things. However, if you think about this is some kind of a graph, and on the left, the sound is coming from here. So you can see that on the left, and then you have the nose, that's the top. And then when you have a you have the closure in the front. When you have a n, you have it in the middle. You have a like mangel. You have it in the then it's in the back. So based on where the sound is, based on where this closure is, the air comes in, and here it's blocked, so you go this way. Air comes in, so you go up, you can go up to here, and the other air goes in, right? And if it's the air can go all the way to the mouth and then go. So based on this difference, last difference here, you can actually tell something about what kind of nasal sound you get.
Ok, voy a tratar de resumir. Él dice de que los nasales por lo general son más bajos, ¿ya? Por lo tanto, como es con nuestra nariz, y si nosotros tomamos aquí la nariz, no podemos pronunciar bien, ¿ya? Y los nasales empiezan de la boca. ¿Ya?
alveolar.
Yeah, okay. La parte de la boca está
Ya, la boca.
aquí, la boca ya
Na.
hacia ya. ¿Y cómo?
Na. Na. So this is the here. Air comes out, and then you can have a model like this. This is model. No persona. This is model.
Es un modelo, no es una persona.
Nobody looks like this.
Nadie se ve cómo está allí. Él trata de explicar cómo sale el aire. ¿Ya? Acá, labial, más atrás y atrás. Y por donde está la cavidad oral, la boca. Y cómo va la fosa nasal hacia arriba el aire.
Yeah. And because of these different places, you can see something in the city.
Por los distintos lugares también esos distintos lugares que él marca ahí es la manera en que uno va pronunciando, va saliendo el sonido.
Since we have translation, the next slide I will just quickly flash. I wrote something, and somebody took a photo. Good. So we have evidence that was there, and like here is something that happens with the nasal. We're gonna see something here. Here's, let's say, ma, and this is M, this is R, right? So if you compare, this is dark, right?
Está oscuro esa parte.
Como coffee, right? It's very dark, but this is not so dark. So this is special about nasal. You see similar thing as the vowel, but certain things are much weaker.
Algunas partes son más débiles, de manera más débil.
Because it comes out of your nose, and the
Sale de
nose
la
has
nariz,
lots of space, and you lose things, lose information.
se pierde información.
Yeah. So as a result, you can actually analyze these sounds using these kind of characteristics.
De esa manera se puede analizar el sonido con esas características. Como ustedes ven, es más blanco el lugar donde está la pronunciación de la M y más oscuro donde está la pronunciación de la A, con el ejemplo que él dio.
So what is interesting in nasal is this weak part. Here's dark, but he's really weak, and here's dark, and he's really weak. So that's
Maybe.
called antiformant.
Antiformante.
No need to remember. Just it's called antiformant. If you want to remember, it's good, but it's not.
Si
like
quieren recordarlo está bien, pero no importa.
Yeah.
No
But there's
importa qué implica.
something called A.
Algo que se llama A solamente.
Antiformant. And using this antiformant, some scholars in Australia, they studied the place of articulation, el contrast lugar, el lugar contrast. So, and they found that from back to front, you can see this change in something called antiformant. The first one, the lowest one, antiformant, changes the value.
Él está mostrando ahí los lugares en que se han hecho los estudios sobre los lugares en que se realiza o que se articula las nasales. Y ahí se ven desde velar, desde hacia atrás, hacia adelante en todos los lugares. Velar, palatar, alveolar y finalmente labial.
So you have all these sounds, na, nya, na, ma. So this is, so there's no na, right? There's na, but no na, right? So they looked at it, but what happened was, it was dental is in between labial and alveolar, right?
Las dentales están entre las alveolares y labiales.
But the antiformant was opposite.
Y lo contrario sería, y estarían de manera, la antiformante sería el lugar opuesto.
Right. So we predict antiformant, the value of antiformant should be here for dental, but it was more like here. So already it shows muy difícil to study dental and alveolar contrast, right?
Es muy difícil estudiar, por eso mismo es muy difícil estudiar el contraste entre estas dos características del
And
nasal.
yeah, they attribute their explanation, la explanación de Tabine was maybe it's the way we produce dental. It's like between teeth, interdental and na versus na. Like these things kind of makes this kind of backwards, basically.
La explicación que dan algunos es que a veces las dentales son laminales, vale decir que uno coloca la lengua de manera horizontal, completa, y la otra es que el alveolar sería apicado, como que dobla un poquito la lengua.
So we tried to use something that Tabine used to see some of the nasal in this African language, but also we want to use this locus equation that Dr. Painequeo used in his analysis.
Él mencionó aquí dos autores que están entre paréntesis con las fechas.
Technician. So locus equation is this thing. So take a picture if you want, but I'm not going to go detail. What is interesting is there's some measures about F2 called F2, and when you produce a vowel R, then so what we do is there's a first, second, right? First, second,
Primero,
and
segundo,
there's a vowel,
una vocal,
and then the midpoint,
el punto medio,
and then the first point,
el primer punto,
and you put it on a graph. The first
y se
point,
coloca
the first,
en un gráfico.
yeah, the initial point and the median.
Yeah.
And the
El punto
result,
inicial y el punto final.
so the result is, you can
Ese
just
es el
see,
resultado.
this is what you get, right? And each dot is one measurement.
Un punto es una medición.
Right. So you get this kind of nice graph. It looks pretty, right? Bueno.
El gráfico es muy bueno.
But bueno doesn't mean anything. We need to know what it means.
Necesitamos saber qué significa.
So it seems that this is the alveolar, ana, and this is the na. So this shows that there is some kind of distinction that can be made in the signal.
Eso, el gráfico, las líneas del gráfico indican que hay algún tipo de diferencia entre ambos sonidos.
So this was nice in 2015 años. However, limit. Solamente un hablante.
Esto se hizo solamente con un hablante, por lo tanto es más bien limitado el estudio.
It's usually very easy to get pretty pictures, pretty graphs from one speaker.
Se pueden obtener muy buenos gráficos solamente con un hablante.
Right. So something to always remember, like if you have one speaker,
Si tiene un hablante, no está completo.
So, Dr. Figueroa et al., it will appear, but also Dr. Painequeo talked about Tolten and Marikina. The nice thing was, now we have 19 speakers, these were the speakers, and we saw some tendency. And if you have 19 speakers, it's always complex, right? And they did a good job in terms of trying to find, and interestingly, what they were able to do was, this locus equation seems to be okay with Allah versus Allah, and Ada versus Ada or Ada, but not so much with Ana versus Anna, right? So, interesting, right? In 2000, 4 años and language change. No, one speaker, 19 speakers, right? And you see some differences now that not everything is always clean. And that's the nature of language, because all of us speak slightly different. Yeah, we all speak slightly. Nobody speaks the same. Right? If you're computadora, maybe you speak the same. But like, usually we are not computadora. So even the same day in the morning you speak like this way, in the afternoon balloon like and you speak like this, and it's happens a lot once you have multiple.
Bueno, él está hablando que el estudio que han realizado últimamente contaba con 19 volantes y que también esto sí, pone algunas dificultades porque no siempre la gente habla de la misma manera en el día, en la mañana o en la noche. Y ahí tenemos que se menciona las dentales y alveolares y luego que están se ve más distinción en las laterales y las que son plosivas, sin embargo no en las nasales. Eso fue lo que se encontró últimamente.
So now you are wondering, when is he going to talk about African language? So now, that's right. So Chivenda is spoken in South Africa, in very northeast of South Africa. So it's like noreste, like the
El noreste de Sudáfrica.
and about 1.2 million people.
1.2 millones hablan la lengua.
It's written.
Escrita.
It's una lengua oficial.
Es oficial.
But it's really small number of people. 1.2 is a lot, sounds like a lot, but it's like 2% of the population.
Solamente el 2% de la población.
Yeah. So it's really small. But it's written.
Es escrita.
And you can write a doctoral dissertation in this language.
Y se puede escribir una disertación doctoral en esa lengua.
So it's possible, right? So it has this written, and it's described to have this dental alveolar contrast in nasal lateral plosive.
Y también tiene estos contrastes que se mencionaron en la ponencia anterior, dental alveolar.
Sound familiar? Sound familiar? Nasal lateral alveolar. Yeah. So we heard about it a lot. Like all in this book. It's going lunch, so I will take it a little bit. So I went to South Africa, bringing all my equipment. No, it's light.
Él fue a Sudáfrica y llevó todo su equipo.
So, and then I recorded some.
Y él grabó.
Yeah. So in orthography, this is
ortografía.
Dental has this little thing underneath, and alveolar does not. Right?
Las dentales tienen
Circumflex.
Sí, tienen algo que las identifica, ¿ya? Y las alveolares son las que nosotros conocemos.
Una programa grande, because you cannot type it in the
es como un programa que
cell
tiene
phone,
que...
right? But anyway, this is what they do. And then I recorded, and something was strange, surprising.
Él grabó y se encontró con una sorpresa.
So, when they had Allah, for example, they sounds like La, but when they read this one, it becomes something like Ra. So orthographia, they write it separately, but they pronounce it differently. Not with the La versus La, but La versus Ra. So this is more backwards. The dental is front, alveolar is back, and they are doing it, but they're changing. Qualitatively, they are changing the sound. The younger speaker, Jovenes. I'm not talking about older speakers. You don't say about older speakers, but the Jovenes in their 20s, this is what they were doing.
Bueno, él dice que el estudio lo que él encontró como sorpresa fue entre los jóvenes, que al momento de ellos realizar estas consonantes, se encontraban que las alveolares las reproducían no con el sonido no con lo que indicaba la grafía, sino que producían otros sonidos. Ahí se ve, por ejemplo, la R que la pronunciaban como si fuera una R.
And D becomes more like J, and T is pronounced more like Ch. Instead of So the only sound that they really produced differently was Anna versus Anna. And entonces, I'm focusing on this.
Y el único sonido que ellos pronunciaban de manera realmente distinta era el dental, la N dental y el alveolar.
So you can see things are a little bit different, similar to Mapuche, but not the same.
Esto es similar a lo en la lengua mapuche, pero algo distinto también.
So since we nowadays have iPhone, I don't use iPhone, but like I use iPhone, but not for recording, and we're going to listen to it briefly. The left one is with dental, supposedly. Can you hear? And the right one. It sounds very similar, right? Does it sound as different? Yeah. Not for me. They said it's different, but like.
Para él le suena casi similar, pero ellos dicen que es distinto.
Yeah.
Los hablantes native speakers son de
Yes.
los hablantes nativos de esa lengua.
So this is what we did. This time we recorded 12 speakers. They were all estudiantes, and we recorded some 6 results. And we also don't have just one, but 6 speakers this time.
Ellos tenían 12 hablantes en el estudio y 6 distintos.
So, just to convince you, they do it. This is a video. So, this is the beginning of the sound, and in the middle, the tongue is in between, and then at the end, they open the tongue. So, yeah.
Las fotografías ahí dan cuenta de cómo se realiza el sonido. Al principio, onset, después mitad y al final.
So, they do
en la articulación del sonido.
So, and if you look at the study done by Professor Figueroa and Héctor Painequeo, then you will see the same kind of picture, that's similar kind of picture that was done by the 10 speakers or Marikina speakers. Marikina speakers. Similar, but the vowels were the same.
Los estudios que se han hecho por el profesor Painequeo y los otros que se mencionaron más o menos se refieren a lo mismo, la manera de articulación de los sonidos.
In the graph is mixed results.
El gráfico proporciona resultados mezclados.
So remember, alveolar should be up than dental, right?
Recuerden que alveolar tiene que ser más alta que la dental.
Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down.
Algunas veces arriba, a veces abajo.
So, and this person is like strange.
Esta persona es extraña.
Don't take picture of this person.
No tomo una foto de eso.
But this sometimes happens. So I actually looked at the video one more time, and what happened was, even though they are same speakers, same areas, some speakers were doing Anna, other speakers were not doing Anna. So they were just reading it as Anna. So it can be that you actually have to be really careful when you look at these acoustic results. If I showed this first, you're like, oh, this language doesn't have it. But you saw the video first, so it seems like they do, some speakers do Anna, but not everybody does it. So there's this change maybe in place because we already know la, ra. La is la, la is ra, ra in this language, right? And da, I cannot. Ada is pronounced as ada, and what is supposed to be ada is aja. So perhaps some speakers already moved to that change even for now. Other people may not have moved. Right? One person, sorry.
Voy a tratar de resumir. Bueno, lo que se ve a veces no es posible distinguir muy bien en los videos lo que muestran los gráficos, y no todos los hablantes realmente van haciendo la misma articulación del sonido. Entonces a veces los gráficos tampoco, esto es acústico, ¿no es cierto?
Sí, acústico.
Esto se hace con un programa acústico, ¿ya? Que a veces sale en el gráfico algo que a veces uno no puede percibir cuando ve el video de la persona realizando el sonido.
So, and remember in Australia, study of Australia, they use different acoustic measurements to see the difference between these.
En el estudio de Australia usaron distintas formas para medir el sonido.
Right. So I looked at them, and what happened was not really different.
Lo que se vio ahí no era muy
Subsequent
distinto.
anti-format, what we did. We also looked at just in case the duration,
La duración,
and almost no difference.
casi no hay diferencia.
Some people show differences, but like they all overlap. So the way to look at this box is if the box really is, even though the average is different, if they overlap, they might not be really different.
Las cajitas indican que a veces no hay mucha diferencia.
So we also look at the following vowel, because sometimes I heard the following vowel
Hay
being
que
a little bit
escuchar
different.
la vocal siguiente,
And again, there was almost no difference.
y
It's
no
a
había
lot
tampoco
very-
diferencia.
Yeah. So, and this is just the vowel plot. Okay, they have a lot of overlapping. Yeah, and it's not always exactly the.
Hay mucho de superposición de estos sonidos.
So I know we are also running out of time. So unless we know, like many acoustic measures were used in other languages for anga, anya, ana, and ama, but it seems like these measurements are not really always telling. When we look at ana versus anna, dental versus alveolar, it's not always good. At least for locus equation, there are some speakers who show something interesting. So it's a support of, in a sense, what Héctor, Dr. Painequeo, I'm like American kind of style, Dr. Painequeo or Dr. Figueroa found the locus equation can show something about this distinction, but it's not always complete or like fully, that's the only thing. But at least, even in this language, locus equation seems like suggesting some differences compared to others.
Las mediciones a veces no, o los métodos que se han usado hasta el momento no indican mucha diferencia, pero al menos en este estudio indicó algún tipo de diferencia. No son totalmente confiables los métodos que se han podido usar hasta el momento.
And this is what I just said. So, going back to this contrast, understanding contrast, what we talked about in the beginning. So, actually, we have a study that we looked at some speakers producing she versus shri. So I produce it different, but like when you hear them really doing it, it's a Sheila, Sheila. It sounds like that. It's very similar. So when we ask American English speakers today, they're like 50% correct. 50% correct, 50% means they're guessing.
Estaba hablando de los sonidos que él mencionó, ¿ya? Y que a veces uno se encuentra que los americanos, American?
No, this is African language. We ask them to listen.
Si hacen escuchar a otras personas, ellos no distinguen realmente los sonidos.
But these people were able to even distinguish the sounds when we did shpi, and they were able to like 100% Almost. Yeah.
Pero el
The
100%
vocales has the P.
cuando se escuchaba el sonido vocálico.
Yeah, only the vocalical, you add the P instead of R. So, yeah.
Solo cuando se escuchaba el sonido vocálico eran capaces de distinguir en un 100%.
We also embedded background noise. No, nobody sounds. Like right now, you have the laughing sound, right? We added like Shiloh, but like we added the laughing sound or talking sound behind it.
Cuando tenemos el sonido de la risa detrás de eso.
And they could understand.
Y ellos pueden entender.
So, from now, we know there seems like there's some change or some differences, or like, at least in the articulation, some people seem to make a difference in Mapuche as well as in Chibanda when it comes to this contrast. This contrast seems to be, for many speakers, notoriously difficult.
Para algunos hablantes, esta diferencia de articulación puede tener alguna dificultad también, y más aún para las personas que lo escuchan.
Right. So from now, the next step is probably we have access to some Mapuche communities. We have recordings. Use the recordings that show the differences and make them actually judge. See whether they can judge or not. And it does not mean that people do not produce it. Not judging it may predict that the language might change.
Ahora nosotros tenemos acceso a grabaciones, ¿ya? Y lo importante es tener esas grabaciones, hacerles escuchar a otros hablantes de la lengua mapuche y ver si ellos son capaces de distinguir, sin juzgar si está bien o está mal la manera en que produce el sonido. Sino eso es signo de que el idioma o la lengua está cambiando, el sonido está mutando.
So is that a bad thing? Right? The question is that, do you really have to be sad, twisted about the loss?
La pregunta es si uno tiene que estar realmente triste acerca de la pérdida.
I would say no.
Because
we cannot actually block any changes. If changes happen, it will happen.
No se pueden bloquear los cambios.
We can try to preserve it, but if people decide to change it, it changes.
Nosotros podemos tratar de retrasar esto, pero es imposible detener el cambio.
So why is it important to do it now then?
¿Por qué es importante hacerlo ahora?
Because now there are still speakers who use these differences in distinguishing words.
Porque ahora hay personas que todavía hay hablantes que son capaces de hacer la distinción al hablar.
And we know this difference is really difficult.
Y sabemos que esta diferencia es difícil.
And these difficult differences are part of some human languages' grammatical system.
Y estas diferencias también estas diferencias difíciles son parte del sistema gramatical de las lenguas.
Which shows that we are capable, actually, as humans, we can make this distinction.
Y que nosotros somos capaces de hacer esta distinción.
So, knowing about Mapuche
El saber acerca del mapuche
allows us to know more about what we as humans can do.
Nos permite también saber qué como humanos podemos hacer, como seres humanos.
Even though it disappears,
Aunque desaparezca,
it does not mean that we cannot do it. Some languages still might be able to do it, and Mapuche is one of the best languages now, probably, to know about this distinction, even though it may not last.
Puede que desaparezca, pero sin embargo en este momento nosotros sabemos que una de las lenguas que es capaz de hacer la diferencia es el mapudungun.
So studying Mapuche is important. That's what I'm trying to
Estudiar mapuche es importante.
Not just for Mapuche, but also for human language in general.
También para todas las lenguas en general, las lenguas del mundo en general.
So we still don't know much about everything that's going on in human language, and technology is becoming better, but not perfect. it's not correct. But anyway, these kind of research that Dr. Painequeo does about Mapuche, sometimes it's seen as like, oh, everybody knows how to speak. Why do we do it?
Estos estudios son importantes. La tecnología también a veces nos puede ayudar, pero no es algo que sea infalible. Entonces la pregunta es ¿por qué hay que hacer estos estudios?
Right. And one of the reasons is just because we speak a language does not mean that we know everything about what's going on in a language.
El hecho que nosotros hablemos el idioma no significa que sepamos todo lo que sucede dentro del idioma.
And the details of phonetic description
Y los detalles de la fonética, de la descripción de la fonética,
can always allow us to have a wider view or like broader view towards humanity as well, not just about human language.
Y el estudio nos permite saber cómo está en ese momento y cómo va cambiando también.
So maybe I'm repeating myself. So anyway, so thank you very much, and we have some funding. So Chalpumai. Chalpumai. I changed the name. Chalpumai.
Lo que pasa es que me saltó curiosidad. ¿Desde cuándo el chivenda tiene un refemario o un...? ¿Sí? ¿Vale la pregunta? Para que se haya permitido presentar tesis doctorales en esta lengua.
Sí.
Oh, alphabet was with the Bible translation, and in the 1968, changed my number, 1968, and during the apartheid in South Africa, that was very sad. However, one good thing for the lengua was the government wanted to separate the grupos. They said each language is different, and they supported each language in order to make each of these groups small in South Africa. So apartheid was bad, probably, for the society and the people integration, but ironically, for language research, it was better, because after the end of apartheid, la gente quieren hablar English solamente. They didn't want to speak their own language anymore. But during the apartheid, they had to speak it.
Él dice que una de las cosas que buenas de la apartheid fue que todos los grupos étnicos podían conservar sus lenguas, ¿ya? Y tenían acceso para estudiar las lenguas. Y con el fin de la apartheid pasó lo contrario. Solamente ahora la gente quiere estudiar inglés y hablar inglés. Entonces, entiendo yo que por lo que dice que es durante todo este periodo, vamos diciendo todo el siglo XX prácticamente, la gente las distintas comunidades estuvieron hablando sus lenguas y escribiendo en sus propias lenguas.
Antes de más nada, muchísimas gracias. He aprendido un montón de este estudio tan detallado, pero me queda una pregunta todavía, porque en otros cambios semejantes de pares mínimos podemos hablar de un cierto demarcaje, o sea, que hay demarcation. Y, por ejemplo, si tenemos vocales orales o nasales, en situaciones de contacto, muchas veces las lenguas pierden las nasales, pero no las orales. Y, por ejemplo, también vocales nasales se pierden y se quedan orales, o otros pares mínimos así. Podemos decir sencillamente, bueno, porque el sonido es más marcado que el otro, se está perdiendo en situaciones multilingües. En este caso, no lo veo. No, de manera alguna. ¿Tienes alguna idea? O sea, ¿cómo podemos explicar por qué el cambio se da en este en este fonema y no en otro.
Yes, it's a difficult question. Why? ¿Por qué cambiar? One way to think about it is many more speakers, la gente, now they have muchos access to English, and these students actually speak English, but at home, in comunidad, they only speak their own language. So maybe that's why it's changing. But language change, we can't predict why. We can predict sometimes, but it can happen for multiple reasons. And even languages with established orthography like English, things can change, right? We know the vowels of why is English orthography difficult to learn? Because all the vowels change the value, even though we keep it. So there's something about orthographia and pronunciation. People associate them closely. It's really the same thing, but the more I think about it, sometimes there's some other purposes of orthography. Orthography is for, as she said, she asked earlier, it's about learning sometimes. Like it's about the literacy. Can you actually read and write and do non-oral communication? Whereas pronunciation can be marked, and if people can read and write the same orthography, even though the pronunciation is different, they can still communicate. And there are these kind of issues actually at work that we need to probably consider. In this particular case, perhaps it is still difficult. Just because you have a contrast does not mean that the contrast is easy or not. It's easier to perceive in your grammar, perhaps. But for these speakers, they ended up they ended up realizing it's easier to make a contrast using this qualitative change in the sound. And as a result, they might be producing it. Actually, it's really surprising to me that they were doing it, because the professors, they were doing like Allah and Allah. They said, we have contrast. We produce it like that, everybody. And I recorded and I know. And I showed them the orthography. So they read the orthography, but still they read it in this way. So even if they saw it, their pronunciation was not actually what I expected. Un poquito largo. So one thing, orthography and pronunciation can be separate. One thing to do. And difficult contrast does not mean that it has to stay. It may change as well. I think those two things.
Bueno, él hablaba de que este idioma, las personas eran jóvenes, ¿ya? Pero ellos hablaban inglés también, y tal vez el idioma mayoritario estaba influyendo en su idioma nativo, pero ellos hablaban y estudiaban y escribían en ambos idiomas, pero cuando volvían a sus casas, ellos hablaban el idioma nativo, ¿ya? Y de alguna manera estos sonidos, que a lo mejor ellos los pueden percibir, también son difíciles de percibir las diferencias, y no necesariamente después ellos pueden realizarlo. Y también lo otro que puede influenciar mucho es la ortografía, la manera en que ellos escriben. Pero él mencionaba que si bien la escritura era de una manera, al pronunciarlo, ¿ya?, ellos realizaban el sonido que seguramente escuchaban en su ambiente. Hay que contar entonces tanto la ortografía como la pronunciación y de qué manera esa ortografía también puede influenciar. Creo que es.
So one example in Korean is in Antigua antes, until 1960s, A and E was different. So it's in orthography. A versus A. A versus A. There is a difference. But now, nobody makes a difference. So Venice makes it A. So when they learn writing, they have to always ask, are you talking about pero or are you talking about crab. I don't know what crab is. I ate crab here, but I don't know what. So these things can happen even in languages with many speakers. It's not just about the small language.
También puede ser en idiomas en que tiene muchos hablantes que finalmente con el tiempo no van haciendo, va como el idioma va cambiando, no van haciendo las distinciones en estos pares mínimos.
¿Alguien más? Entonces, para ir cerrando este primer bloque, agradecemos la participación del Dr. Seunghun J.
Mari también. Mari. Mari, ¿compro también? Inchinta, primer tu jefe, nosotros somos docentes, andamos de acá, profesores de escuelas urbanas, acá en Temuco, donde se implementa la lengua y la cultura mapuche en el aula, donde finalmente nosotros hacemos la práctica. Yo creo que vemos bastante en la MIEN que trabajamos directamente con nuestros niños, nuestros pichiques la MIEN en el aula, la práctica, ya en zona urbana, en contextos que no es en el contexto familiar del log de la comunidad. Entonces se nos hace el triple quizá de complejo de poder transmitir y no perder justamente estos fonemas por los cambios que hay. Y mi pregunta es, con respecto a eso, las universidades siempre escuchamos de muchos estudios, y así usted mismo ha hecho estudios en Sudáfrica, pero en la práctica, allá, en donde usted pertenece, la universidad que usted pertenece, estos estudios, ¿cómo lo hacen práctico para llegar así a los profesores que enseñan la lengua? Esa es mi inquietud, porque de pronto hay muchos estudios, y los que no tenemos acceso a eso, o los tenemos, pero los que somos prácticos no somos prácticos, simplemente en el caso mío soy súper práctica, ¿ya? Un ejemplo, usted como universidad, usted como doctor, ¿qué hace la universidad para poder establecer esto? Para transmitirlo a los docentes, a los profesores, a los alumnos. ¿Qué está haciendo la universidad? No sé si me... Chemchumeke ita pu universidad. Traducir, vamos.
Creo que comprendo usted. One thing is, I understand this connection, la conexión entre la universidad y teachers, not professors, like teachers at the school. Same. Professors. Oh, good. Like in Spanish, they are like igual. Like escuela, profesora de la iglesia. Oh, so good. Yeah. So already, in español, it's good. But what I think is, it's a slightly different nature of it. So when you do a studio like this, you now know that these contrasts might exist or might not exist, right? And let's say Dr. Painequeo found that this contrast, jóvenes don't use it anymore. But let's say you as a professor in la escuela, you have students who speak Mapuche, and you thought that there was this concern. And your jóvenes do not say it, and you think you are wrong. You have to make the contrast, right? You may say, but like a research like this, a studio, can actually give you an indirect evidence. Teachers are busy. Profesores de la escuela, muy ocupado, right? You have to deal with students, and they don't listen to you, so you have to make them listen to you, right? So muy ocupado. So it's sometimes difficult to do research, but university professores, they are usually looking at a really detailed problema that you might wonder about, like what, okay, but you don't have time, no tiempo por estudiar. So I think the most symbiotic relationship, buena relación, can be if you have a question, if you have any like pregunta while you're teaching your language that's about the language, like Lengua Mapuche. You talk to the professors at the universities, like this is happening. What is it? Do you know anything about it? And the professors might have resources to investigate. When you are busy teaching in Maheke, you cannot suddenly go to Tolten and record 10 people, right? But the research can actually inform you what is possible and what is not possible, or like can tell you the question. So I say this because in Estados Unidos, I used to teach many teachers. I used to teach like linguistica to teachers of English, and they had the mismo pregunta. And I thought about it, and what is the best thing? And one of the nice thing about being a teacher is teachers in school, escuela, they have access to data. They have access to real observation. They have everything actually, but no tienen tiempo. That's the problem, right? So I think that's where the relationship between university and schools can lie. So you can have question, you can have a good relationship, or because I have to good, some relationship, algún relación con universidad, and then you can actually do a project together since you have access to what you do. And then you can learn more about la lengua mapuche. I think, again, it was wrong. So, largo, muy largo. So, mea culpa. But like, so, un punto is, it's importante entre de profesoras en la universidad y profesoras en la escuela, conversación. Tienen conversación. And in that way, you can actually learn from the situation, and then you also can do more research, and you can develop things together. What is difficult? ¿Qué es difícil, for example? And that, trying to answer that requires some exercise. Yeah, that's for me. Sorry.
Bueno, principalmente él habla que él ha realizado lo que da como consejo en Estados Unidos, ¿ya? Para decir que él trabajaba con profesores, futuros profesores, y también tiene que ver mucho con el profesor que está en la escuela, que ve que hay ciertas dificultades, ¿ya? O que se ha percibido ciertas dificultades o ciertos sonidos distintos, y que el profesor debe, si hay esta relación con la universidad, quizás venir y consultar, en este caso al profesor Painequeo, ¿cuál es esta relación? ¿Por qué se produce esto en la sala de clase? ¿Por qué los niños no pronuncian esto o pronuncian esto de otra manera? ¿Ya? Y de esa manera se puede haber una completa simbiosis, porque el profesor obviamente no tiene tiempo para investigar lo que está pasando en la sala de clase. A veces tampoco tiene, eso lo agrego yo, a veces tampoco tiene los recursos o cómo hacerlo, pero tiene ahí todo el elemento como para hacerlo. Y por otra parte, nosotros los académicos que no estamos cerca de los estudiantes o de los hablantes en este caso, podemos ayudarlos en cómo ver y cómo solucionar ese problema y cómo investigar también más de ese problema. De esa manera se une lo que es el profesor dentro de la sala de clase, que ve y que trabaja diariamente con los niños, y el académico que tiene la parte más de estudio, más científica. De esa manera puede haber una ayuda recíproca.
So one good analogy is there's doctor médico, right? And there's biología. Doctor médico similar to profesoras en la escuela. Biologists are like académico and universidad. Doctor medical doctors don't have time to do biological research, but we need biological research to help our understanding of medicine, disease, and all this. So if you think in that way, I think it's more open for a lot of good collaboration, especially when it comes to languages like Mapuche, where there's so little is done, and there are many more things done, but like still, we don't know many things. So we can know more things by actually having this conversation.
Él hace la analogía del médico, el médico que está con los pacientes, y la biología que se estudia en la universidad. El médico requiere de la biología para estudiar, para luego llevar ese conocimiento a sus pacientes. Eso es más o menos como tendríamos que trabajar tanto la escuela como la universidad.
En el almuerzo seguimos conversando.
Claro.
Invitado, dígale eso.
Bueno. Es parte.
Invitado,
Para finalizar, despedimos al Dr. Seunghun J y también agradecemos la colaboración de la profesora Oriana Oñate.